And hello, everybody, and welcome to Synergy Theater. It's Friday night, and it is 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and that means we are just 1/2 hour away from going live with tonight's performance of The Mating Game. Thank you for being here. You have found Synergy Theater, and we are just 30 minutes away from our show. So sit back, feel good. If you want to participate in tonight's show by offering us some suggestions, we're going to do that through the magic of our interactive chat. So all you have to do is log into your YouTube account and you will be able to chat with us. And that's how we're going to solicit suggestions for our completely improvised show. Tonight, it's The Mating Game. You have found Synergy Theater. Thank you for being here. I'm going to take care of some very important business as we are getting ready for tonight's presentation of The Mating Game. And then we will be starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at Synergy Theater. This is our live YouTube channel. Tonight is Friday, May 29th, and we are delighted to welcome you on board tonight. We are performing our brand new show, The Mating Game. So you have arrived at the right place. If you would like to interact with us via chat tonight in order to offer suggestions, you can do so by logging into your YouTube account. Otherwise, if you'd like to just sit back and enjoy the show from your large screen television while you sit back on your couch, you can go ahead and do that too. We are just 28 minutes away from beginning our show. We are just 28 minutes away from beginning tonight's performance of The Mating Game. Thank you for being here. And Valerie Jord is already in our audience tonight. Hello, Valerie. It's very nice to see you. Lynn Shields is out there in our audience tonight. Hello. Very, very nice to see you as well. I'm going to say hello to you on chat. And oh, I said hello. I'll say hello this time. and welcome everybody. We are just 21 minutes away from the start of our show, 21 minutes away from the start of tonight's episode of The Mating Game. My name is Ken Adams. I'm the artistic director of Synergy Theater. Synergy Theater performs full-length improvised plays in a variety of styles and genres. When we are in the real world, we are lucky enough to be at the Dean Lesher Center for the Performing Arts in Walnut Creek. But now that we are all sheltering in place, we are delighted, absolutely delighted, to come here right into your living room or your office or wherever you happen to be watching us, with a full array of online improvisational formats for you. If you go over to synergytheater.com, 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 you could click on our online performance page and you will get a sense of all of the different shows that we are doing and when we are doing them. Last night, we debuted our show, The Life and Adventures of Peppermint Jones. And this next weekend, we're going to be doing both of these shows again, but we're going to reverse the date. So we are here every Thursday at 4 o'clock and Friday at 7 o'clock. Tonight, obviously, it's The Mating Game. Next week, Thursday, we'll be doing The Mating Game at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And then The Life and Adventures of Peppermint Jones one more time. So if you didn't catch it the first time, you could head over to our Synergy Theater Facebook page and see it. It's right up there. Or you could just wait until next week and catch it again when we do it live one more time. Hello, everybody. Thank you for finding your way to Synergy Theater tonight. We are going to be starting at 7 o'clock. That is just 21 minutes from now. 21 minutes from now. Sit back and relax as our cast is starting to arrive and we are all getting ready for tonight's world debut of The Mating Game. Well, hello, Valerie Regalia, and welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very excited about debuting the show. Valerie Regalia is not only in the show, but she conceived the idea and she is the director of the show tonight. Hey, Valerie, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about how you got the idea for this awesome show?
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of the 1960s. Right, this is a green screen behind me, but normally behind me there are Beatles posters and drawings of various bands from the 60s. So I'm a big fan of that era. And when we were looking for show ideas that would fit well with this Zoom format where we're all in our own separate boxes, I had the idea of The Dating Game, that classic 1960s TV show, because the Bachelorette could not see the contestants, and I thought, what better way? They're going to be separated. We can try to replicate that idea.
Awesome job. Well, it's been a real pleasure rehearsing this one, and I am super excited about the show tonight. We are just 19 minutes away from showtime. You're welcome to hang out here on screen with me if you like. I'm going to take a couple of moments in order to make sure everything is ready. I'm the host of the show tonight, and when you're hosting a big time game show like this, there's lots of preparation that's necessary. So I'm going to take a moment to do my preparation. Meantime, you're welcome to stare at our beautiful faces, sit back. You have found Synergy Theater, and we are just 19 minutes away from the world debut of The Mating Game.
Ken, I have some music that we are legally allowed to play.
That would be awesome. If you have some music, we could entertain our guests with some music. That would be fantastic.
Some background music. Now, I warn everybody, this is free music. So
Public
no
domain?
public, it's not public domain because that would mean it was from 1920 or before, but it is free to license on YouTube. So
So we are absolutely have all the permission in the world that we need in order to use it, huh?
yes. So I will just put it on in the background so we get a little ambiance. Let's see.
I'm digging the music, Valerie.
What? Okay.
I'm digging the music.
Okay. Hey, Mallory.
Hey, unfortunately, I just can't get rid of this green glow.
Oh, hon,
We
I can't
are
hear you,
coming to you
Mallory.
live. Hello, everybody. Mallory, just so you're aware, we are live on YouTube right now. So welcome to the show, everybody. Mallory Penny is performing with us in the mating game tonight, and Valerie Regalia is here. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name is Ken Adams, and I am the artistic director of Synergy Theater. And tonight, Synergy Theater proudly brings you the mating game, conceived and directed by our very own Valerie Regalia. Synergy Theater is a non-profit arts organization, and we are here in the East Bay in California. We perform a full slate of fully improvised plays in different styles and genres. And when we are performing in person, we're performing at the Dean Lesher Center for the Performing Arts in beautiful downtown Walnut Creek. Nowadays, we are delighted to be coming to you online every week, every Thursday at 4 o'clock and every Friday at 7 o'clock. We're going to be right here on our YouTube channel offering you innovative and brand new improvised plays, all designed for our virtual theater space. So we are excited that you are here. It is 6:48, and that means we are going to start in just 14 minutes. I don't know. I don't do the math in the company. I'm just the pretty face. But we will be starting at 7 o'clock, and that means we are just 12 minutes away from the start of our show. Thank you all for being here, everybody. Hello, Susan Regalia. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Lynn. Thank you all for being here. It is a joy to have you back with us. We are so excited about the debut of this brand new show. And now we are just 11 minutes away from showtime. Valerie, do you have any other ideas in mind for innovative shows for Synergy Theater? What is your brain cooking up? If you don't, that's okay. I realize
I'm working on some ideas, but none that have formed enough to announce yet.
Fair enough. Well, even if your greatest gift to us is the mating game, that will be a lot. And very excited about it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken Adams, and this is Synergy Theater. You have found our YouTube channel. Tonight, we are proud to present the mating game. Is it a game show? No, it's not. But it is in the clever disguise of a game show. What could that possibly mean? You'll find out in just 10 minutes. We are 10 minutes away from the start of the mating game. Thank you for being here. Synergy Theater is a nonprofit arts organization located in Walnut Creek, California, where we perform full-length improvised plays in various styles and genres. And we are usually performing in the beautiful Dean Lesher Center for the Performing Arts. Nikki, welcome to the show. It's very nice to have you. Nikki is a longtime performing member of our company and a member of our board of directors. Nikki, thank you so much for being here. I love your hair. How do you get it to work like that?
It's a gift. It's all natural.
I'll say, well, it looks very beautiful. Of course, Nikki, when you were growing up, did you watch the dating game, the original dating game back in the day?
I did, which then tells you how old I am.
Well, I did not suggest anything of the kind.
No, I watched it on Nick at Night in reruns.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's the right answer. I did watch it.
And were you a fan of the show? Did you look forward to it and actually enjoy actively watching it?
I did. And I think because it was on for so long, you kind of watch the way that the people changed, their outfits changed. They turned into hippies at one point. And a lot of the people that were on the dating game became celebrities or stars.
Yeah, that's right. Who are some of the celebrities that you've managed to find clips of in order to watch?
Burt Reynolds, John Ritter before he was famous, Steve Martin, Sally Fields was a bachelorette when she was really young, but she was also Gidget at that point. But yeah, I watched
it. She was already a TV personality while she was a contestant on the game show?
Yes.
Now, I didn't know that. I assume they did not go out of their way to choose celebrities, but I guess sometimes they did, didn't they?
They had them on there, but from what I could tell, a lot of them were just up and coming. They wanted to be in television, and so that was one way in. And so when you look back on it, you can see them and know that they had done a lot more after that. Oh, Robert Vaughn was on, the man.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, and you mentioned Steve Martin, I think. I remember seeing a clip with Steve Martin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a phenomenon. That's a good point that you raised about it being on TV for so long that we actually got to see some decades pass and some trends come and go all through the lens of people looking for love on this television show.
Right. You could even see the way that the way they answered questions changed over time. It became much more sexual towards in the 70s than in the 60s, where it was just a little suggestion.
Ah.
Yeah, so it was a lot cleaner in the 60s than it was in the 70s.
as the mores of the country changed around it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you for that historical perspective on the dating game, Nikki. Valerie, how are you feeling? We are just 7 minutes away from beginning our show. At 7 o'clock, Valerie, I will just disappear and I'll turn it over to you to kick things off and get our suggestions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to be offering us suggestions tonight, then you need to do that through the chat feature, and you need to do that by logging onto your YouTube account. So go ahead and log on to your YouTube account, and then we'll see you. Like right now, I see Eileen Tumlin is on our chat, and Lynn Shields and Valerie and Susan. Thank you all for being here. So if you want to just watch without offering us suggestions, then that's great. We're just going to get some suggestions at the top of the show tonight, and then perhaps some, I guess, just at the top of the show, right, Valerie? And then we're going to...
At the top of the show. However, if people wish to add some new suggestions, we will have 2 rounds within this show tonight. So you might pick some up in the second round.
All right. And again, Valerie will explain all of that when we officially start our show in just 6 minutes. We are 6 minutes away from the start of the mating game. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to mention that Synergy Theater is a nonprofit arts organization, and as such, we have been greatly affected by the pandemic that's going on. Most of our activities, of course, involve getting huge groups of people together and offering shows and workshops, especially to children and their families. We travel into libraries and schools and community centers, and we offer youth outreach programs in all of those venues. Unfortunately, we're not able to go out and do our work, and not only is that a loss for the people who we don't get to visit, but it is also a big financial strain on us, and we do have monthly commitments that we still need to make. If you are possibly in a position to make a small donation to Synergy Theater, we would appreciate that very, very much. Anything you can offer us tonight, $5, $10, anything at all, will be deeply meaningful and very, very much appreciated. So if you are in a position to do that, please go to synergytheater.com, SYNERGYTHEATER. That's synergytheater.com. Click on the Donate Now button and make a donation to Synergy Theater. We would appreciate that very much. Synergy Theater also teaches classes. Now that we are not able to teach in our studio in Berkeley anymore, we are teaching classes online, and that has actually been pretty awesome because it has opened us up to a student body all over the country, and in fact, in some cases from overseas in Europe. And it is awesome getting to teach improv classes to a whole bunch of people that otherwise would never have been able to come into our doors. So if you are watching us now and you think you would like to take an improv class online, I would recommend you do it. It's a lot of fun. And you can find out all about the classes that we're offering also by visiting synergytheater.com, SYNERGYTHEATER, synergytheater.com. And click on our School of Improv page, and it will tell you all about the upcoming classes that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just 4 minutes away from tonight's debut of the mating game. Everybody, if you would like to participate via chat, go ahead and log into your YouTube account. If you're just going to sit back and enjoy the show without offering suggestions tonight, that's great. You're in the right place and you're doing the right thing. We are 4 minutes away, and we will be back soon with the start of the mating game. In the meantime, we're just going to smile idiotically at you.
And I'll see you in, oh, there's
hello, Mallory. We're smiling idiotically at everybody.
Yeah. Hi, Mallory.
Oh, very, very nice. Very, very nice. 3 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen. We are just 3 minutes away from the start of our program tonight. Thank you all for being here.
Arastu's hiding.
Well, that's okay. Some people are more shy than others. All right, we are 3 minutes away. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ken Adams. I'm the Artistic Director of Synergy Theater. And tonight we are here with our online debut performance of The Mating Game. That's Mallory Penny down there. That's Valerie, and there's Arastu. Hello, Arastu. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
And we are now 3 minutes away from the start of the dating game. And I just said dating game. I meant mating game. It's a whole different show. And we are very excited to bring this to you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now 2 minutes away from the top of the show, at which point I'm going to turn things over to Valerie. Valerie is going to pick up as the host, get suggestions from you, and we will be off and running with tonight's exciting performance. Valerie, it is, let's see, like I said, we have 2 minutes. So we have 2 more minutes of inane smiling.
We could do the Brady Bunch thing right now.
Yes, that's right. All right. Oh, Joe Marsh is with us. Karen Harrell is with us. Hello. Thank you all for being here. It's very, very nice to see you all. We are just 1 minute away. At this point, I am going to disappear backstage. We're going to turn things over to Valerie. Valerie, when the clock on you all says 7 o'clock, you are ready to go, and the mating game will begin. I'm going to give everybody places, and the screen is yours, Valerie.
Wonderful. Well, you guys, welcome to the mating game. I'm super excited that you are all here watching. And this is our take on that classic 1960s TV show, The Dating Game, except this is a much more serious, long form type of show. It's not really a game. We're not playing a game. We're improvising a performance, and you'll find that it's similar to that original 1960s TV show, except that things might get a little bit more intense, or maybe more relationships evolve. We'll find out. So I think we're ready to start soliciting suggestions. So there are several types of suggestions I'm going to ask for you all to give us. So the first one is occupations. The second type of suggestions are hobbies. Third type of suggestions are secrets. What are some deep, dark secrets that these people have? So it might make it easier for all of us if, when you are giving these suggestions, you preface it. I will give an example in the chat box right now. So preface it by saying, occupation, colon, teacher. That's an example. If I wanted to give a hobby, I'd say hobby, colon, knitting. So, but once again, I'll keep repeating these. We're looking for, locations are also great. So locations, where are these people from? So let's start getting these suggestions.
Thank you all for being here. It's very, very nice to see you all.
Look, sounds like we have someone has the YouTube video open. I think that's closed. Okay, great. Wonderful. Looks like we're getting some great suggestions. And if anybody else in the cast has another type of suggestion they'd like to get, that would be great. But I think that this is wonderful. So keep on giving them. We will pull whichever ones we feel like using. And again, we will have 2 rounds of this show tonight. And so if their suggestion doesn't get grabbed for the first round, we'll have a whole nother set of contestants for the second round. So looks like we have lots of them, and keep them coming if you would like. Well, they're coming really fast and they're very hard to grab already, but that is wonderful. Okay, and I think that we're ready to begin. Anybody in the cast disagree? Nope. Nope. Wonderful. Okay. I give you the mating game. Oh, I think I messed it up already really quickly. Sorry about this, everybody. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Mating Game, the game show where one lucky bachelor or bachelorette gets to choose a date from among 3 wonderful contestants. However, the bachelor or bachelorette cannot see the contestants. They must choose their date based on the sound of their voice and their answers to personal questions. Tonight, we have not one, but 2 rounds for you, with 2 different bachelors or bachelorettes and 2 sets of contestants. And now, please welcome your host, Pat McGroin.
Well, hello everybody and welcome to The Mating Game. I'm Pat McGroin and this is the place where lonely singles come hoping to find love. Tonight we have 3 fantastic contestants, each of whom are hoping to be the one chosen by our lonely, gaping, open heart. Let's get to meeting those contestants right away. Contestant number 1, come on out here. Contestant number 1 is a zookeeper from San Francisco. Contestant number 1, say hello to America.
Hi, America. It's so fun to be here, Pat. I have been waiting to meet you for so long.
Well, I think somewhere in my heart I've been waiting to meet you too, sweetheart. Why don't you tell everybody how you first became a zookeeper?
Well, when I was a little girl, I had a lot of pets that were strays and they would follow me home. One time a llama followed me home and another time a little tiny elephant. My mother hated them, so I had to hide them underneath the house. And so underneath the house, I would go every day to feed them. And then it just occurred to me at that time that I should be a zookeeper. So I found my calling when I was 10.
I will tell you that if I was a stray, I would follow you home. All right, why don't you go on backstage and let's bring out contestant number 2. Contestant number 2 is a spy who enjoys stamp collecting. Hey, contestant number 2, how did you first find your love of stamp collecting?
Well, I am just so glad you asked. You see, I actually stumbled upon it. When I was just 7 years old, I went for a nice deep dig in my backyard, and lo and behold, I found this old army box filled with stamps. It was at that point that I discovered my love for stamps and also my love for the mysterious life.
Well, that must have led to your occupation as a spy. Is it as exciting as it appears to be in the movies?
Just don't make sure that you don't tell anyone, because I'm a spy, but it's really a secret.
Well, I won't tell a soul. All right, it's time to meet contestant number 3. Contestant number 3 is an Arby's enthusiast, and our contestant comes all the way to us from Maui. Contestant number 3, tell us how you first discovered your passion for all things Arby's.
Aloha, Pat. I'm so happy to be here. I first discovered my love for Arby's when I had their chicken sandwich. It was so delicious. That was all I could focus on. And now all I eat is their soups. I just love Arby's soups.
Well,
I follow Arby's employees around every day. I just love them so much.
You certainly have experienced a good deal of growth going from their chicken to their soup. All right, contestant number 3, good luck to you. Why don't you go behind? And now it is time to meet our lonely single. Our lonely single is a weaver, and this weaver comes to us all the way from Philadelphia. Hello, Bachelor. Why don't you tell everybody your name and how you first got involved with weaving?
Oh, hi, Pat. I want to say I'm really excited to be here. Well, my name is Robert, and I started weaving ever since I was a little boy, helping my mother and grandmother part of their weaving habits, and it was weaved into my soul, Pat, and here we are today as a professional weaver.
Well, that is fascinating. Tell me something, Robert. Are you ready to find the love of your life on the mating game?
I couldn't be more ready, Pat.
All right. Well, let's bring up the lights on our 3 contestants who are behind that partition. You won't be able to see them, so you're going to have to make your decision, Robert, based on the answers to your questions. And it is time for round 1 of our questions. Take it away, Robert.
Well, Hi, everyone. I wish I hope to see one of you soon. Anyway, my first question for you, contestant number one, is when we go out on a first date, or if we go out on a first date, where will we go?
Oh, we'll go right to Stern Grove in San Francisco. It's very near the buffalo pits, and I think you'll just love it. Buffaloes are amazing, and they belong in a zoo for sure. It's amazing. You'll love it. Honestly, you will.
I'm sure I will. I love animals of all sorts.
Oh,
Contestant number two, same question. Where would we go on our first date?
Well, I would love to take you to the exhibit at the Museum of Stamps. It's my all-time favorite happy place. So that would be the first stop. The next stop, well, you see, I really have a thing for spying and catching bad boys. You know, it's kind of my thing. And I sure do spy you right now, Robert. And I feel like I'm going to catch you, you bad, bad boy.
Well, I sure do love a good naughty talking to, but I'm really a good boy. I'm a good boy. Contestant number three, first date. Where would we go?
Oh, well, I'd bring you to my home island of Hawaii, the Big Island. And I have an idea, friend of mine, I think the perfect romantic evening. We drive in my car, we visit all of the Arby's that there are on that island. Then we fly in a private jet that somehow I pay for, I don't know. But we go and we visit the Arby's on Maui.
Well, interesting first round, Robert. What do you think your mother would think of these girls?
Well, I'm definitely sure she would find them all quite lovely and to find another way to weave a new life into her life.
All right, it's time for our second round of questioning. Let's get this relationship a little bit deeper. Robert, take it away.
Thanks, Pat. Speaking of my mother, actually, I really feel that you can tell a lot about a person based on their relationship with their mother. And of course, I'm also looking to find a wife and the mother of my children. So I want to ask each contestant, what is the relationship with your mother? Contestant number three, let's start with you this time.
My relationship with my mother's great. She loved to feed me soup and sandwiches. So I love eating soup and sandwiches because my mom would make it for me every day. But then I witnessed her death. She died while making a bisque. It was a crab bisque. She was allergic. I'm sorry. It's okay. But I loved her very much.
Contestant number three, I'm sure America wants to know, how upset were you when you saw your mother die?
It was okay. I'm okay now. I was very upset.
Pat, I'm sure she was very upset, Pat. And I can hear the pain in your voice, contestant number three. I'm really sorry.
Could you just imagine that, Robert? Could you just imagine the pain if your mother died?
Did you watch your own mother die, Pat? I'm sorry.
Well, moving on. Contestant number two, what is your relationship with your mother?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Robert. My mother and I are like two peas in a pod. We are so tight. We live together. In fact, she's down in my basement. Let me see if I can get her on right now. Hey. Oh, she's out in the audience watching us. Ma! Say hi, Ma! Oh my gosh, she is my biggest fan. You know, I'm just so lucky to have such a loving mother. It would be just so terrible if I saw her die. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, you know. But
yeah, I do know. I wouldn't wish it on anyone either. Contestant number one, your relationship with your mother?
Well, it's really good. I mean, she didn't die or anything, but she works with me at the zoo. I have her raking up a lot of muck in all the cages. I put her to work. She's really, really busy. She really loves the work.
Oh, I see you have a close bond in the work. Well, Pat?
No, we're really, really close.
All right, and that brings us to our first commercial break. The mating game to you today is brought to you by Mama Boy's Cafe. When you're looking for breakfast, but you don't want to cook it yourself, you'd rather have your mama do it for you. Robert, it's time for our private round. That means you get to choose one of these lucky single contestants and go into a private chat with them. You won't be able to see them, but you'll get to push this relationship forward a little bit. Who would you like to go private with?
Contestant number 3, Pat.
All right, we're going to send Robert and contestant number 3 off into a private room.
Contestant number 3, I wish I could see you right now and give you a big, big hug.
I would like that. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. My relationship with my mother is really close. We have such a great bond. And I just want to let you know that my heart goes out to you, contestant number 1.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Listen, would you feed me soup if we went on a date?
I would feed you. You wanted me to feed you. I would love to put anything you want in your mouth, contestant number 1.
All right, America is still watching. Keep it tame there.
Oh, we're talking about.
All right, it is time to bring all of our contestants back, and I'm going to bring the light right back up on my own podium here. And Robert, it's time to. Contestant number 1, is that a hand you're raising?
It is, because I would like a private moment with contestant number 3 for just a couple of seconds, if that's okay.
Well, I say that's highly unusual, but all right. Let's send contestant number 1 and contestant number 3 off into the private talking room.
That was a cheap shot. I know your mother didn't die. You're just trying to make him feel sorry for you. She didn't die. She is alive. She's in the audience. I can hear her laughing. She keeps calling out your name.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
You had us all going for a second, but I didn't believe it for a minute.
Listen. Let's just get me to win this.
Why?
Because I'll win, and then I'll take you with me on the trip.
Right.
Hey, you're a beautiful woman. I'm a beautiful woman. Why wouldn't that work?
What are you saying?
I'm saying you help me win, and I will take you with me. And we can
All right, it's time to come back out of that private room, and let's bring all of our contestants back on. Robert, it's time to go into our lightning round. In our lightning round, you get to ask each contestant a question which starts with, what would you rather be? Then you present them with 2 alternatives, and you have 15 seconds to get through all of the contestants. Ready and go!
Contestant number 1, what would you rather be, homeless or amazingly rich, but you had to gain your money through illegal ways? But knowing you'll never get caught.
What? I want to be rich and get my money through illegal means.
Okay, contestant number.
Well, I'm sorry. As I said, you only had 15 seconds to get through all of the contestants, and you wasted too much time with contestant number 1. What would your mother say, Robert, if she knew you had an opportunity like that, but you blew it?
She wouldn't be too happy about it, Pat, and I don't like you rubbing it in my face, okay?
Well, why don't you just get your act together and do something good for a change?
What are you talking about, Pat? I do good things. I'm a good boy.
Oh, really? Well, then how come you didn't ask all of the contestants a question like you were supposed to?
Well, you didn't give them time, Pat.
I'm sick and tired of you. Go to your room. All right. We're going to give Robert just a brief timeout, and then we're going to bring him back. All right, Robert, that's plenty of time in your room. Why don't you come on back out? Robert, contestant number 2 had a hand raised. What is going on, contestant number 2?
Well, I haven't had a chance to go private with anyone yet, and I would like to go private with you, Pat, if that's all right.
With me?
Oh, yeah, Pat. I want to go real private with you.
Well, this is certainly turning into an interesting episode of The Mating Game.
What would my mom think about that, Pat, if you went private with another woman?
You should talk when you are spoken to. All right, I am going to go private with contestant number 2. If everybody else would kindly give us the talking room. Well, hello, contestant number 2. What can I do for you?
All right, listen here. So I've been faking this personality the whole time, but some things are really going down, Pat, and you need to know this. Contestant number 2, oh wait, that's me. Contestant number 3 and contestant number 1 are in cahoots. I have been on their trail trying to track down these 2 sisters of mischief for years, and I finally got them both right here in my grips, and I need you to help me out, Pat. I need to know that I can guarantee an arrest after this show today. Can you help me, Pat?
Are you telling me that you're here for work and not for dating purposes?
Look, I have been undercover in this role for 3 years, and I am not going to blow it now. You hear me, Pat? I need you on board.
Contestant number 2, I have a question for you. How long have you been prioritizing your career above your love life?
No one's ever asked me that. Why are
I'm
you
asking.
are you seeing something in me more than just work and career? And when you look at me, Pat, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is a woman who has defenses, a woman who would put herself in the middle of a mating game show and then refuse to open herself up to the possibility of finding love. Is that why you're a spy? Because you know that lifestyle would prevent you from being vulnerable towards other men?
Well, I guess that when I'm a spy, I just get to jump from person to person. I never have to really truly face who I am.
What do you think about Robert, contestant number 2?
Oh, Robert is a wimpy man, but Pat, I just can't take my eyes off of you.
Seems like once again you're trying to find love in a place you know it's not available to you in order to prevent yourself from getting hurt. But I'm very happy to have been the prop you used in order to demonstrate that. All right, thanks so much for coming private with me. Contestant number 2, we're going to send you back out. Let's bring all of our contestants back. Robert, how are you feeling? You look a little sour. You look a little grumpy, boy. You look like you're feeling a little go.
I'm feeling fine, Pat. Why don't we get on with the next question?
All right. Take it away, Robert.
Contestant number 1. If you were betrayed by your father, tormented ever since you were a kid, and abandoned, how would you reconcile with him?
I would have to move out and run away from home.
Contestant
That's
number 2.
all I got.
Same question, number 2.
My father and I, we're real tight, 2 peas in a pod. In fact, he lives up in my attic, and he's out in the audience right now.
Well,
hey,
what
Dad!
for you?
Dad!
Contestant number 3. How about you and your dad?
Well, I'm sorry. You see, my dad died when he choked on a sandwich.
Of course he did.
Would you feed me sandwiches on our first date?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sandwiches?
Contestant number 3, did you say your dad died when he jumped out of a sandwich?
He choked on it, Pat.
Oh, choked on it. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you well enough. I thought you said he jumped out of a sandwich. My problem, my fault. I'm sorry.
Pat, maybe if you would listen to people better, you would hear what they have to say.
Well, as a matter of fact, I listen very well, especially when they go private. And you might as well know, Robert, contestant number 3 is a big liar. Her mother is alive, and her mother is in the audience right now.
Is this true? Is this true?
Oh, she's alive! Oh my goodness, Mom! Mother!
Contestant number 3, why don't you be honest for once in your life?
Fine. It's true. She's alive. She never fed me soup. She's just a regular mother.
Why would you lie to me, contestant number 3?
Sometimes there are good lies. Robert, I still love you.
That's a bad lie. It's a very bad lie.
No. Sometimes, you just have to present the best side of yourself when you're finding a new love.
Well, my best side is that my mother. It was definitely not my father.
Look, I lied about it because my mom was so, and my dad, they were so controlling over me, and they never let me do my own thing or be on my own dating show. That's why I did it. And I had to rebel against my parents. That's why I lied.
I can relate to that regarding my father. Very controlling, manipulative, and always put me down and treated me like a child.
Well, contestant number 2, it seems like there's an honest connection shaping up between Robert and contestant number 3. Do you have anything at all you want to do about that?
I just want contestant number 1 and contestant number 3 to know that you're both under arrest as soon as this segment is over. I'll give you 5 more minutes of glory, and then you're both going downtown with me, because I finally got you. Ah!
What is this? What's
What
going on here, Pat?
talking about?
This is
Well-
this is a sting, baby. I've been undercover for 3 years, hunting down the mysterious sisters, and they're right here in my grasp. Just right next to me, I can practically taste the victory on my tongue. Oh, Pat, do you
Like
want to
that-
taste the victory on my tongue? I'll take you out for a good dinner, baby, you and me.
Contestant number 2, I'm a happily married man, but as long as you brought up the arrest, why don't you tell America what contestant number 1 and 3 did that was illegal and why they are being arrested?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Contestant number 1 and contestant number 3 met in jail 3 years ago. They developed an elaborate heist there to go and rob 37 banks, 52 car dealerships, 36 orphanages, and now they are loaded with riches, with cars, and with babies. And if anyone has ever wanted to see justice in their life, it's happening today, folks. This is the moment we have been waiting for. Woo-hoo-hoo! I got the mystery sisters!
All right, all right. Well, we're coming into the final round of our game. Robert, things have gotten a little bit out of control here today on the mating game. I'm going to give you an opportunity to go private with each one of our contestants for 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to go private with each one of our contestants and see if there's anything left of these relationships that you can or want to salvage. Robert, why don't you start by going private with contestant number 1?
Hurry up, Robert. We don't have that much time. Here's what I want to do to you. I want to throw you in a cage and I want to feed you some carrots and apples. That's what I want to do. Wouldn't you like that? And then when you are satisfied with all of that food that I'm going to feed you in that cage, you're going to get rid of contestant number 2 and weave a jail around her and help us get out of here, Robert.
I'm definitely not a criminal, and I don't consort with them. Would you ever want kids?
Yes, I want kids.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
get it.
that's something.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's have 30 seconds of Robert going private with contestant number 2.
I got to tell you, contestant number 2, I'm actually really, really impressed by what you pulled off here today.
I got something to tell you, Robert, but you've got to be ready to receive it. It's about your father.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready.
You see, your father was triple timing you. He had 2 other families besides you and your mother, so it's no wonder that he put you through a horrible sense of abandonment as a child. He was so busy putting his energy into other relationships that he had no time for you and your mother. But on his deathbed, he wrote a letter, more of a poem. It's just 3 lines, and I have it. I would like to read it to you now. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Robert, dearest son, your baby bottom was the first thing I saw when you came into this world, and from that moment forth, I knew that you were going to shine bright like the sun. Your smile warms my heart, and I think of you still to this day. On my deathbed, I want you to know that I do love you, and I hope you'll forgive me.
I forgive you, Dad.
Well, all right, it's time to go private with our 3rd contestant. Robert, you have 30 seconds of privacy with contestant number 3.
Listen to me, Robert. I know you can't see me, but I know I lied to you. I'm sorry. But there's something that you should know. Apparently, contestant number 2 doesn't realize that I also robbed every single Arby's branch in the United States. And I have a secret fortune that she doesn't know about. It's about an extra $5 million. We have enough money. We can go to Cabo San Lucas and live on the beach for the rest of our lives. Do it with me, Robert. Do it with me.
It's a lot of money.
And all right, it is that time. Let's put the lights up on all of our contestants. Robert, it is time for you to decide who you are going to go on your date with, courtesy of the mating game. Why don't we start by having all of our contestants go off into the dark, and we'll build a little bit of suspense here. Robert, tell us first, which one of these contestants are you choosing to humiliate and not go home with tonight?
Number 1.
Number one, come on out. Robert, why don't you tell number one right to her face exactly why you rejected her?
Yeah, what?
Well, honestly, I kind of just don't feel a good vibe from you. Your voice sounds too conniving. I mean, yeah. I mean, looking past the whole jail sentencing thing, I just don't think I could trust you.
And I don't like Mama's voice, so you spared me.
Well, that makes two of us, Missy.
All right. Robert, who is the next contestant with whom you are not going home?
Number two, Pat.
Number two, come on out. Well, Robert, why don't you tell contestant number two exactly why you're rejecting her?
Well, you're kind of a snitch, and I don't really want to respect authority too much. I never feel that I could trust you with certain things. I feel like if I tell you the wrong thing, you can get me arrested or in trouble or something.
Well, good. You know what? I made up that poem about your father. He never wrote you squat. I improvised the whole thing, baby. And I'll just be waiting right outside the back door to arrest the Mystery Sisters, which is why I'm really here, Robert. It's not about you.
Well, good thing I made that choice there, Pat.
Well, all right. Let's meet the contestant that you did choose. Let's bring her out. Contestant number three. Yeah. Robert, why don't you tell us why you chose contestant number three, especially since you know she lied to you?
Well, Pat, she promised me $5 million that she hid it and that she stole it from Arby's and hid it somewhere. And we're going to go to Cabo San Lucas to run away. And I want her to come with me in the back room so we can get away from that pesky number two.
We're actually going to head out right now before, let's go.
You do understand, unfortunately, the spy has a whole police squad outside ready to implement those arrests. So unfortunately, the date we are going to send you on is a very, very small one, just over to the local police precinct where, Robert, you're going to get to be able to watch contestant number three get fingerprinted.
Can you at least tell me where the money is?
I'm sorry, that is all the time we have on this episode of The Mating Game. Goodbye, Robert. Enjoy your trip to prison. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn right around with another fantastic episode of The Mating Game. We are going to have three all-new contestants, and we are going to have a brand new lonely single looking for love. In the meantime, as we are getting ready for our next contestants to come entering the stage, I want to remind all of you that there are a whole bunch of well-deserving, meaningful, nonprofit arts organizations out there, and nonprofit arts organizations depend upon your generosity in order to thrive. So if you could think of a nonprofit arts organization that might be important to you on some level, then all you have to do is grab as little bit of money as is comfortable to you and offer it to them as a donation. That would absolutely be very, very meaningful and very, very important to that arts organization you were lucky enough to choose. All right, my friends, it is time for the next round of the mating game. Are we going to get that awesome opening again, or am I going right into it? Forgive me, I'm just checking in with my producer on that. I think I'm going right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet our contestants for the next round of the mating game. Our first contestant is a Freudian analyst all the way from Minnehaha, Wisconsin. Contestant number one, what would you say about the fact that I just had a Freudian slip and mispronounced the word analyst as I was introducing you?
Well, I would say that I would love nothing more than to deep dive into your past, Pat. Now, I have to ask you, when you see yourself in the mirror each morning, what color comes to mind for you of emotion, like an emotional color?
Solid gold.
Solid gold. Oh, dear. I hope you don't actually have that in your mind, because Freud thinks of solid gold as being pompous and poor.
Well, Freud has that right. All right, contestant number 1. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet contestant number 2. Contestant number 2 is a glass blower, and contestant number 2 also has a hobby of creating homemade sourdough. Contestant number 2, how did you start blowing glass?
Well, Patrick, I started blowing glass ever since I graduated from the University of Glass Blowing.
Well, it's nice to see somebody who has actually put their degree into practice. All right, contestant number 2, why don't you go back behind our petition? And now let's meet contestant number 3. Contestant number 3 is a window washer, and the irony of ironies is she is afraid of heights. Contestant number 3, how on earth did someone who is afraid of heights become a window washer?
It was my therapist's idea to make me confront my fears. And so they put me up high to wash those windows.
Well, is there a fear you have, contestant number 3, that you have not yet confronted?
Yes, there is. And that fear is flying.
Wow, so you're going one story at a time, getting higher and higher, eventually hoping to combat the greatest fear of all.
But flying in a blimp, I need to be very specific about that.
Well, and you just were. All right, contestant number 3, let's take you off and let's bring out our lonely single looking for love. Our bachelorette tonight is Maybelline, and Maybelline, as you could probably tell just from looking at her, has a habit of collecting the debris from her own tooth flossing. Maybelline, how on earth did you start collecting the debris from your own tooth flossing?
Oh, I've been doing it for years. I'm working on it with my therapist right now, actually. But it's a great collection, and it's amassed a big following in my house.
And just how large is the container that you need in order to keep the various debris from your tooth flossing that you've collected over the years?
Pat, I've just started using a garbage bag.
Well, that is fantastic. All right, Maybelline, are you ready to find love?
Oh gosh, I really am ready to find love.
All right, let's bring up the light on our 3 contestants. Maybelline, it's time for the first round of questioning, so take it away.
Okay, contestant number 1. If we went to your house, what would we do?
Well, I'm really glad that you asked. You see, I have this special back room I want to show you. And maybe I'll tell you more about it as we go, once we get a little more intimate. It's my little secret.
Great. Contestant number 2, same question.
Repeat the question for me, please.
If we went to your house, what would we do?
We would do many things that would release endorphins and serotonin in the human brain, which will give you pleasure.
Ooh. Maybe you can get between my teeth.
I will get between many things, my lady.
All right, national television. Bachelorette, Maybelline, go ahead. It's time for another question, this time for contestant number 3.
Contestant number 3, same question. If I went to your house, what would we do?
Well, we would watch Mr. Ed, and we would eat raisinets, chocolate-covered raisins, and we would eat them all night. Would you like that?
Oh, the raisins, they stick in my teeth a lot.
Oh.
But
all right, it's time for our second round of questioning. Maybelline, take it away.
Okay, contestant number 3. Which season is the most romantic and why?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
I'm sorry, contestant number 3.
I was sorry about the raisinets.
You have lost your opportunity to answer that.
Summer.
Seems like you had an opportunity for something, and once again, you let it go by. What's that about? Contestant number 1, why don't you take the answer to that question?
Well, I would love to, Pat. I think that the best is winter because we can just stay inside and cuddle.
Oh, wonderful. Contestant number 2, what's your favorite season, or what season's most romantic and why?
The most romantic earthbound season for me would have to be the summer months because the temperature is much more conducive to my biology.
All right, and that brings that round of questioning to a close. It's time for a brief commercial break. Today's version of the mating game is brought to you from the Klondike Home for the Criminally Insane. If you have deep psychiatric issues, we're the place for you. And Bachelorette Maybelline, it's time for our next round of questioning.
Okay, contestant number 1, if you were attracted to a member of your family, which member of your family would that be?
You know, I'm so glad you asked me that because what it tells me is that you obviously have an attraction to a member of your family. So why don't you tell me, who is it?
Let's just move on to the next question. Sorry. Contestant number 2, are you attracted to any members of your family?
I have been a derivative from my ancestral roots. We are then spawned from one to the next. Therefore, my attraction is based on all of them. Spawned. And I wish to spawn a new family with you.
Contestant number 3, I'll ask a different question for you. Do you have any pets?
I do. I have a cat, a dog, and I love the summer. Summer's romantic.
And I'm going to take the host's prerogative of going private with contestant number 3. If everybody could please turn the lights down on their partitions and let me go private. Boy, oh boy, contestant number 3, you're fighting hard to come back from that horrible misstep a short while ago when you completely neglected to answer the question. Do you feel that you're earning your way back into a possible choice here?
Well, I'm trying, Pat. It's really hard. Contestant number 2 had her hand on my leg and she was squeezing really hard when I was asked that question. So I felt like she was totally distracting me. It wasn't my fault. It really wasn't.
Is anything ever your fault, contestant number 3?
No, nothing's my fault. It's everybody else's fault. That's why I'm here, Pat, because life just hasn't been good for me. I can't find love anywhere and I just want to love. And I love the Bachelorette, but I think I'm in love with you too.
Well, I'm a happily married man. Contestant number 3, what happened in your last relationship? Was any of that to blame to go to you?
Well, my last relationship was really hard because my husband had an eating addiction to Raisinets and he overate them. He gained like so much weight that it was all my fault, I know. I tried not to let it be my fault, but I couldn't stop eating these Raisinets and I couldn't stop feeding them to him. Is that wrong, Pat?
I think the most important thing that just happened, contestant number 3, is you accepted accountability for something in your own life. And that's all the time we have to go private. Let's bring back everybody, and I'm going to turn the questions back over to our bachelor. Maybelline, take it away. Oops, I'm sorry. Contestant number 1 is raising her hand. Yes, contestant number 1.
Well, I would just love a moment with the Bachelorette alone for a moment, if that's all right.
Contestant number 1 is going private with Maybelline. Take it away.
So, Maybelline, I think I just feel really comfortable around you. I'd like to go ahead and tell you what my secret is, if that's okay.
Yeah, your voice sounds so familiar to me. It's like very comforting.
Oh, it's just, my voice moves around. So, I, in my spare time, am a dominatrix. And, well, you see, I've got this really great dungeon, and I would love to strap you in and just show you a good time. And then we could talk about your familial history, and I could, get to know a little bit more about who it is that you're in love with. Maybe we could explore that fantasy a little bit more. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, contestant number 1, your voice sounds like just so familiar. I feel like you're a voice of reason to me, or something. It's like alluring. I like it.
Well, I'm really attracted to you.
I feel like I just want to lie down on the couch and tell you everything.
Oh,
Well, all right. That's all the time we have for that private conversation. Let's bring everybody on back. And Maybelline, it's time for your next round of questioning.
Actually, Patrick, I wish to have a private moment alone with Maybelline.
A private moment alone. All right. We'll let you go private with our bachelorette.
Hi, contestant number 2. Your voice is interesting.
Maybelline, you cannot see me, of course, but I am using my powers of telepathy to enter your mind. Do you hear me in your heart, in your soul, Maybelline? I have traveled vast distances of space and time to inexorably find you, Maybelline, for you will be the one that will be my vessel for procreation through the process.
God, this reminds me just of that time that I was beamed upon the alien ship, and I had a bunch of alien babies. God, it's bringing me back.
Am I hearing this correctly? You had alien babies already? But who? Which alien?
It was Glarfar.
Glarfar! I see. Very well.
Well, all right. That's all the time we have for that moment of privacy. And Bachelorette Maybelline, it's time for the next round of questioning. Take it away.
Okay. Contestant number 1, soup or salad?
Soup, but then salad.
Contestant number 2, soup or salad?
Both at the same time.
Contestant number 3, soup or salad?
Salad.
Okay. Contestant number 1, snow or sand?
Sand.
Contestant number 2, snow or sand?
Sand.
Contestant number 3, snow or sand?
Snow.
Okay. Contestant number 1, whips or chains?
Oh, baby, all of the above.
Contestant number 2, bed or couch?
Whichever one is better used for copulation.
Contestant number 3, heights or lows?
Lows.
Okay.
Lows.
And it's almost time for our bachelorette to make her choice, but I'm gonna use the host prerogative and take a private moment with Maybelline herself. Maybelline, if you'd meet me in the private chat. My goodness, Maybelline, it certainly seemed like you had some familiarity with the voice of one of those contestants out there. What are you thinking? Who does she sound like?
I can't place it right now, but it sounds.
Delve deeper, Maybelline. Delve deeper and discover the answer.
It's my therapist.
Your therapist? Isn't that outrageous, Maybelline, to assume that you'd get on a game show and your own therapist would be chosen as one of the contestants with whom you might find love?
She's always been complaining that I don't tell her enough, that I don't really give in to her and tell her my deepest secrets.
And what about that other contestant, a strange man with a foreign accent who seems to be an alien, jealous of other aliens that have abducted you? Hasn't that always been a fantasy of yours, to be abducted by aliens and have another entire alien race jealous?
Yes.
Does that seem logical to you, that you would get on a game show called The Mating Game, which is so similarly named to another famous show, and it kind of looks and feels like it, but it works differently, and your own therapist is one of the contestants, and your other fantasy is coming to life in one of the other contestants? What makes more sense, Maybelline, that you're on a game show, or that you're still in that insane asylum where you were committed when you were 12 years old because of your lack of touch with reality?
There's cameras!
Deep breaths, Maybelline. I'm here for you. Deep breaths. Don't let the man get in your head. We have made such good progress up until now. It's me, your therapist. Now breathe deeply and think of the color aqua, your happy place.
Aqua, aqua, I'm in a river. Oh my God, there's cameras everywhere. I'm a star. I'm a movie star. I'm the star of my own reality television show.
You are a star, baby. Pat, you should be ashamed of yourself. You are preditizing on beautiful young women who are vulnerable. You should be fired.
Contestant number 1, I was born ashamed of myself. All right, Bachelorette Maybelline, it's time to continue your paranoid delusional fantasy life and choose the mate of your dreams. So I'm going to turn out the lights on all of our contestants. And Maybelline, I'm going to ask you to start by telling us which one of these contestants are you not going home with? Will it be the one who is crippled by fear? Will it be the one who believes he's an alien? Or will it be your own therapist with whom you have 6 hours of group session every day?
The first contestant I'm not choosing is contestant number 3.
Number 3, come on out. All right, contestant number 3. I'm sorry, Maybelline. Why don't you tell contestant number 3 why you are not taking her home tonight?
I'm trying to overcome my fears, and I don't want to be with someone who's afraid of everything.
I'm not afraid of everything. It was just heights. You didn't even ask that question. I don't like heights. I can't get on a blimp. When is that ever going to happen anyway? Don't you get it?
You remind me too much.
The same fears that you're trying to overcome.
No. I don't like you. I'm sorry. You're scary.
All right. I'm sorry, contestant number 3, if you'd kindly just fade away into the ether. And who is the second contestant that you are not going home with tonight?
Second contestant I am not going home with tonight is contestant number 2.
Contestant number 2, Bachelorette Maybelline, why don't you tell our poor contestant number 2 why you are refusing to take him home?
I already had a relationship with the alien. I'm sorry, you remind me too much of Glarfor. Heartbreak.
I will get my vengeance on that one. My vengeance!
Well, that is unfortunate. And now, Maybelline, it's time to find out who you are going to go out with and potentially spend the rest of your life with. Let's bring her out now, your therapist.
Doctor.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I'm sorry. The truth is, I don't choose you. I want to sever our romantic and our professional relationship. And Pat, I choose you. I've always had a fantasy of going out with a married man who runs his own game show.
Well, unfortunately, Maybelline, I'm not available.
This is going to call for many more therapy sessions. Going after married men, this is just going right into the problems you already have. I even offered to show you my dominatrix back room.
I would have shown you colors, feelings, imaginations beyond your wildest dreams. And now, because of this, I must destroy your planet.
I would have taken you on a plane ride. That's the mark of courage, when you do something that's so terrifying, but you still do it for the person you love.
All right. Well, Maybelline, it looks like things didn't quite work out the way you had hoped they would tonight, but we do have a parting consolation prize for you, and that's this little vial of meds. Why don't you go ahead and take those right now?
I just want contestant number 2 and number 3 to know that I am available for therapy services. It sounds like you both need a lot of help.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's episode of The Mating Game was brought to you by the Klondike Home for the Criminally Insane. If you have deep psychiatric problems, we're the place where you can be sent away safely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to say goodnight. Thank you so much for being here on The Mating Game. On the count of 3, everybody, let's give America the big Mating Game salute. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good night, everybody. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for being here tonight. As you can tell, I am having some very strange issues with my green screen tonight, so I apologize for that. There we go. That was our first debut performance of the mating game. Thank you so much for being here to watch us. Let me take this one opportunity to remind you all that we are here on YouTube every Thursday and Friday. Thursday at 4 o'clock, Friday at 7 o'clock with an all improvised show. Next week, we are doing the life and adventures of Peppermint Jones on Friday at 7 and the mating game on Thursday at 4. If you had fun watching us today, go ahead, tell your friends. We'd love to get larger and larger audiences all the time. Synergy Theater does teach improv classes online. If you would like to study improvisation with Synergy Theater, I think you should. It's a lot of fun. Go to synergytheater.com, find out all about it. And please allow me one more opportunity to mention that Synergy Theater is in fact a small nonprofit arts organization, and we don't even have good green screen technology. So we really, really could use any help we can get. If you're in a position where you could give us a donation, we would appreciate that very, very much. Kindly go to synergytheater.com, synergytheater.com, and click on that donate now button where you'll be able to make a donation. Anything at all will help. $5, $10. It will all be deeply meaningful to us and very, very much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Stay safe. Synergy Theater loves you. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.